Good evening. Sorry for the late video. Part of it, I'll quickly explain for those who may have not watched the Pokemon review, because you really don't have a reason to. But, long story short, I was exhausted Thursday. I didn't even watch the episode until Friday. And then I've been feeling bad towards the latter end of Saturday, pretty much all throughout today. So everything's fucking late. So don't worry, it's not just the Snafu review. And the good news is, at least I'm off tomorrow, so it's not like I gotta go to sleep early tonight. But let's talk about Snafu. So this episode, actually, in general, is pretty weird as an entirety, because it's one of those episodes in which it kind of happens, and there's not like a lot of progression, at least on the surface. There's a lot of subtleties that are sprinkled throughout the episode, but the episode as a whole it's not like on the same pace as the other episodes in that sense. So the Komachi sequence is cool. It shows like there's a lot, like actually the Komachi sequence in the beginning is a good example of the little subtleties that we get. The first example is that if you compare this to, I believe, the student council situation, from the sequence from season 2, where like Hikigai just actively chose not to tell his sister about his problems or had something had happened, and visibly got annoyed with her. So as a retaliation, she got like aggressive and very like distant from her brother. Versus this episode is a clear distinction, because she's actually genuinely surprised how open and honest he was about something happening, and being like, look, I'll tell you, but just not right now. I'll tell you later. I appreciate that. That's one of the first examples of subtleties. The second subtlety thing is when Hikigai and Yui are talking at the playground, she kind of goes over all his faults, which ironically enough isn't the first time. This happens multiple times throughout the series, usually in a more comedic manner, and it's leading down that same direction. The subtlety comes in is the fact that Hikigai is very open about, I'll work on improving all those things. Which before, if anyone remembers, the way Hikigai was at the beginning of the series is he was very proud to be the kind of guy that he was. And he had no interest in changing himself. That's actually one of the best conversations him and Yukinoshita have in the beginning about why should I have to change because society wants me to change. Like, it was something along those lines, and she kind of goes through the argument of why it's important and all that other shit. So it's funny that now, like, going into the third season in their junior year, he's like, oh, okay, fine, I'll make an effort to change it. One of the funniest gags during that whole sequence is when Yui's like, when Yui's listing off all these things that he does that she doesn't like the fact that he's still pretty nervous. Like, one of the things he's always done since the first season is that he will never get up in class and approach Yui to come get her. The way it always normally fucking happened is that fucking, like, Yui would be paying attention to him, and then that would kind of, or she would approach him. That's the way it had to work. He's already made subtle improvements in the fact that he's openly willing to text her now. He never used to text Yui. Hell, and I think he got her number as early as I think it's the first season. Yeah, I think it's the first season he gets it. During class, and they're talking about it. Yeah, I think it's the first season. The first season, I think, is when he gets her number. And I think this is one of the few times, or at least in this season, where he's actively texted her. So he actually texts her in class to get her attention. That's already growth on that part. But of course, she's also complaining about, why don't you just come up and approach me and stop asking me for things in the last minute. And the fact that he visually still has a problem with looking Yui in her eye. He always kind of does this shifty-eyed shit where he looks off in the distance, or he looks up because he doesn't want to fucking, he can't look her in the eye. It's all these little subtleties. Even with Yui, in the sense that she's more open, about what kind of person she is. She's always mentioned, in her monologues in this season and in last season, she's very open in her monologues about how greedy and how she's a bad person for being greedy. It's surprising to me that she's very open about saying how greedy she is in reference to them talking about wishes. And I think she just says it in general. I think she's being more open about how she is to Hikigaya. It's interesting because we haven't got any more sad monologues or sequences with her in a little bit, so I imagine this is maybe her slowly going through her own growth and progression. We also get to see a lot of Yui's mom this episode, and a bunch of cute shit happens. I don't want to go through all the cute shit. All I'm going to go is, man, Yui's mom, I swear to God, if you weren't married or if you were a widow, shit would have to go down. Woo! Shit. Y'all don't fucking know. Yui's mom keeps playing these fucking games and think a nigga will walk up on her and be like, hey, yo, mama! Let me holler at you for a second. Let me holler at you. Let me holler at you. Let me holler at you. Let me holler. Let me holler. Ha 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 ha. Let me holler at you. Let me holler at you. Hey, I'm hollering at you, bitch. Don't you hear me? If you get that reference, 10 points for you. I think you can give yourselves a lot of points for that one. That's a reference in itself, but that one you should be pretty obvious. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of cute shit that pretty much transpires once that whole let me go to fucking Yui's house to help do this stuff for Komachi, but we're also gonna have a bunch of cute moments in between it, between Yui and Hikigaya, and then just Yui's mom, because she's that girl's dangerous, bruh. Then you got, I think I skipped the sequence in which I think they run into Aroha and Yukinoshita in the class. There's not a lot of talk there. The only two things I probably can mention is, the first thing is how Aroha is still kind of clingy with Hikigaya, even though supposedly a few episodes ago she kind of came to her own emotional defeat. Supposedly. I say supposedly because that's all I'm going to say as far as that's concerned. But there's like a running joke between, like, they're having a conversation, but like Aroha's kind of like goading the conversation because they won't directly talk about it. And there's a couple monologues with Hikigaya in general about how he kind of wishes he and Yui could have this same relationship. He's kind of getting into the point that most teenagers get to when they're about to graduate or when shit's about to shift drastically in their life, about how you wish some of these dumb, subtle things would just stay the same, and how he genuinely enjoyed his time working on cooking with Yui and her mother. Like, there's all these little subtleties and shit that you can kind of appreciate. The ending of this episode is really fucking random, though. I get it. I get what they're going for. But man, this sequence seems really out of place because there's no build up to it. I don't even think the beginning, it's only referenced because of the prom, but it's never. So, does anyone remember Meguri? I don't even know how to pronounce her name off properly. Who hasn't been seen since like the first fucking season? She's graduating! She's graduating! She's graduating, and you should feel sad because Hikigaya feels sad, and Aroha feels sad, and other people feel sad. What? This might be another situation where this character has more screen time in the light novels, but in the anime, she's in the first season. I don't think she's in the second season at all, and if she is, it's really subtle. I know she's in, but she's only in like the latter end of the first season from what I remember. I feel like the light novel had sped through some stuff maybe, or skipped some stuff, or something happened, and they were like, fuck, we gotta put in some content for the latter half of this shit. Okay, well, the graduating class is coming up, so we might as well do that whole sequence. It just comes out of fucking nowhere, I guess is my problem with it. Like, it's not that it's like I don't feel like, ooh, graduation, but it's so it feels like it comes out of nowhere. Considering we've been on this whole prom thing, and it's not like the theme of graduation doesn't resonate with what's been going on in general anyway. It's just, it doesn't, because it wasn't mentioned before, or it wasn't like shown to us often, and it's with a character who barely gets any screen time, it's like, do you really? I think actually this is her first appearance in this season. That's what makes it even worse. We've been talking about prom and graduation in the next year and the next graduating class and shit. We've been talking about all of that. All of it. And she's just now showing up in episodes. I don't know, bro. So, like, the end of the episode seems really fucking weird and random to me. It's not like I don't get it. It just doesn't flow the way it should because it feels like it was thrown in because they were like, fuck, we need to still do this and we haven't done it. Fuck, why haven't we done it? We need to go ahead and do this. Fuck, here it is. So, like, I like the episode, but it low-key feels like filler in a way. Because even though there are cool subtleties, if you're a fan, you notice some of the growth with Hikigaya, some growth with Yui, even some subtleties with, like, Hamachi and Iroha, and a little bit of Yukinosha stuff. Like, and then you got this random graduation ceremony that Hikigaya is getting overly emotional about. I don't know. It's one of those episodes where I'm like, it's cool and I like it and I enjoy it, but I recognize in the grand scheme of things, there's nothing overtly here that's supposed to be pushing the story. Like, it just seems like we're kind of in the middle and we're just going through paces. So, I like the episode, but it's nothing crazy, especially considering... But at the same time, I feel like we need some downtime with some cute shit because there's been so much shit going on, especially with this whole how our current relationship is ending and things aren't going to be the same and how I wish it would be the same. So I guess in that sense, I don't mind the downtime and the cute shit. I just recognize that it's like... It's not filler, but it's like snafu filler, where it still has things in it that are important, but like not as much as a normal episode, I guess. But with all that being said, leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Please tell me what you know, 'cause I wanna hear it, and I just wanna be there for you. For you. Alright, that was bad. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support. I'm gonna go upload this and then stream for an hour. Everyone else I think is playing Uno, but right now I'm gonna stream for an hour. So peace. Oh, 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 oh.